Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here at $2.47. Look at that dip that just happened. This is because of Donald Trump's executive order for the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and digital asset stockpile. But XRP is holding up very well right now, down 0.41%. Look at Bitcoin, just above $87,000, down 3.42%. You know, the narrative that was going on all over X ever since Sunday is that the U.S. government is going to be buying up $1 billion worth of Bitcoin every single month. And that narrative was all bullshit. President Trump signs an executive order establishing the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Take a listen to what's said as he gets ready to sign this executive order.
Today we're signing, and this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value, because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And they made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
So all that happened is he signed an executive order saying we're not going to sell off the Bitcoin that the government already holds. So today is the same as yesterday for Bitcoin. They're not going to be buying anymore. And this comes from David Sachs. I want to point out one thing that he says here. So in addition, the executive order establishes a U.S. digital asset stockpile consisting of digital assets other than Bitcoin forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings. The government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. The purpose of the stockpile is responsible stewardship of the government's digital assets under the Treasury Department. Promises made, promises kept. But the U.S. does not hold any XRP. I'll talk more about that in a minute. This comes from Eleanor Tourette. The strategic reserve will contain only Bitcoin, the digital asset with the most store of value, using the 200,000 or so tokens already in the government's possession that has been seized over the years through criminal and civil forfeiture. The other digital asset stockpile containing assets other than Bitcoin, presumably XRP, ADA, ETH, and Solana, as announced by the president last weekend, and potentially others. The key difference between the reserve and the stockpile is that the government will not actively look for ways to purchase more of the assets contained in the stockpile. It will only explore using government funds if they can find budget-neutral ways to do that on buying Bitcoin. So where is the government going to get the XRP from, or the ADA? So here's what the government holds right now. They hold Bitcoin, ETH, USDT, Wrapped Bitcoin, BNB, AUSDC, WBNB, and Wrapped ETH. And I think a few other assets, but these are the main assets, none of which is ADA, Solana, or XRP. My idea is this. I think the reason that Ripple is meeting with Donald Trump is maybe because Ripple is going to donate some XRP to the stockpile. So that's one way. The other way is through the settlement with the SEC. The CFTC CEO Forum on Digital Assets, hosted by acting chair, was just wrapped. Here's who attended the confab. So you see, the CEO of Tether was there. Brad Garlinghouse was there. The CEO of MoonPay, CEO of Crypto.com, president of Circle. And that shows you that Brad Garlinghouse was in Washington today. And I don't understand why the CEO of Tether was there. I'm actually surprised he showed up in Washington, since Tether is still under investigation by the Department of Justice. But who knows where that goes from here. But Brad was in Washington today. The U.S. SEC will dismiss its case against Ripple today or tomorrow. There's a lot of talk about this as well. And there was also a closed-door meeting with the SEC yesterday as well, when Brad was in Washington. So did they come up with some sort of deal that might be announced today at that roundtable meeting that is set for later this afternoon? We really don't know yet. And if the U.S. is not going to be buying XRP off the open market or ADA or Solana, they have to acquire it somehow. Is it going to be through donations or a settlement coming from Ripple through the SEC? We will soon find out. Then there's this, and this is something that a lot of people have been talking about lately. The T-bills and the Treasury. Oh, I see your $10,000 XRP and raise you. Ripple becoming the Federal Reserve if that happens. While we're having fun speculating, let's keep it going. If the XRP escrow were in fact bought at $10,000 per token, Ripple would be holding an enormous position in U.S. Treasury bonds from the U.S. government. And I mean enormous. Well, what if that is part of the plan? Pay Ripple in U.S. Treasury bonds, leaving Ripple with a small position in XRP and a huge position in U.S. bonds, meaning the stage would be primed to have Ripple become the new Federal Reserve so they can issue RLUSD to match the new level of U.S. Treasury bonds they received in the sale of XRP to the U.S. government. Goodbye to the old Federal Reserve that has become an old bloated pig of a private bank. And hello, Ripple. You know, I think the Federal Reserve is going to be with us until the end of Jerome Powell's tenure. Once Jerome Powell leaves in 2026, that could be when they end the Fed. Maybe it happens sooner. Who really knows? But I kept saying, Ripple is looking more and more like a central bank all the time. Ripple could easily replace the Fed if it came down to it. And with RLUSD being a good candidate to be the digital dollar, it would actually make sense. XRP ETF approval in 75 days. The digital chambers push inside Trump's crypto task force. In February 2025, the digital chamber met with Trump's crypto task force, pushing for the SEC to take swift action on key priorities in the digital asset space during the administration's first 90 days. We're now 45 days in, and buried within the document shared with the task force, one demand stands out. The new SEC should approve both XRP ETFs and 19B-4 applications between 30 and 90 days. That means an XRP ETF approval could be just 75 days away. All signs are pointing in that direction. You know, everybody is so focused on the stockpile right now, and that's where all the hype is. But you know, just a year ago, we would have never even talked about a stockpile for XRP. And we still seen a lot of potential in the price of XRP. These ETFs are going to be very big. I think this is going to get everything going in as far as Altseason, unless the Rippleverse SEC case wraps up first. And there's also a very good chance of that happening as well. XRP has outperformed ETH, Sol, Dogecoin, and AVAX by at least 200% since November 2024. You know what gets me? Every single day, I keep seeing all these Bitcoin maxis saying, put your money in Bitcoin, it's up only. But if you would have put all your money into XRP right before Donald Trump got elected president, you would be up at least 200% right now. I think it's more like 350% right now. XRP is outperforming the rest. Ethereum, I don't even know how Ethereum's going to perform in Altseason this time around. It is not looking good at all for Ethereum. I mean, usually right now you have all the ETH maxis pumping ETH everywhere you look. ETH is going to hit this price point, that price point. ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. We've seen that happen in the past. This time around, there is zero hype for Ethereum. All the hype is either around the Bitcoin reserve or XRP. And that's it. And meme coins. I mean, this cycle is totally different from all previous cycles. You should be bullish as hell right now because everything going forward looks great for XRP. And let me go back for a minute. So think about it like this. If they were to pay the SEC fine in XRP and donate it to the stockpile, that's just XRP that is getting taken off of the market. It would be locked away, or the government would utilize that XRP to move money on a daily basis. Use it like for its actual use case and utility. No matter what though, even if it was donated, it comes off of that's total supply. Think about it like that, because it would be locked away for a long period of time. Is it going to push the price to $10 or $20 or $30? Most likely not, unless they actually use it for its actual utility. If they just take it and lock it away, maybe the price goes up, maybe to $5, just on the hype around it, nothing more. And we still got to wait to see what happens with that meeting later today. Hopefully that's very bullish for crypto. How did Ripple sell Trump on XRP in a crypto reserve? By pushing Solana. I'm starting to see all these articles all of a sudden about Ripple promoting Solana to be in the crypto reserve plan. So Ripple Labs executives, including CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Chief Legal Officer Stu Alderati, reportedly pitched President Trump to include Solana in the crypto reserve plan announced on Sunday to give the rest more legitimacy among the crypto community. I don't know if this is actually true, or if it's just some sort of FUD around XRP. I really don't know. But I see other people saying the same thing, that Ripple promoted Solana to be inside of that reserve. I just don't see that happening. I mean, think about it. Trump already knows what Ripple is. He already knows what XRP is. This is nothing new in 2025. Ripple was meeting with the president back in 2017, 18, and 19. And we all know about that executive order back then. I think if they get that XRP, I think Donald Trump will utilize it to strengthen the US dollar. If he knows what XRP does, and I'm sure he does, he's going to utilize it to strengthen the US dollar. That's my thoughts on that. But if you look at XRP right now, it's back in the green. And it's literally down 11 cents today. And everybody was acting like the sky was falling just a short while ago. Oh my God, this is it. I'm selling my crypto. It's over for crypto. And even the Bitcoin maxis, they were expecting something totally different. And I kept saying, the government is not going to use taxpayer dollars to buy more Bitcoin. It does not make sense in any way. And that's what happened. And you know, this year, no matter how you look at it, it's going to be very big for XRP. I'm still waiting for that breakout moment to happen. Is it going to happen this month? Everybody's expecting that. But you know, whenever we expect something, it always seems to get delayed. But March has always been good for XRP. Let's hope this March does not disappoint. And until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.